Today, I want to share with you the incredible story of a man whose life has been shaped by music, faith, and a God-given calling. His name is Matthew Holt, a gifted musician, a world-class pianist, and one of the treasured members of the Gaither vocal band and Gaither homecoming family. But his story isn't just about playing notes on a keyboard. It's about a boy who prayed a simple prayer at the age of 7, a prayer that God answered in ways far beyond his imagination. Matthew's journey began in McKenzie, Tennessee, where he was born and raised. At just 2 years old, his parents took him to a Kingsmen concert. One of the performers that night was none other than the legendary Anthony Berger, the pianist whose music would inspire countless lives. That night changed Matthew forever. By age 3, his parents had placed a piano in their home, and without ever really knowing how, Matthew discovered that he could play. He often said, "It's not by chance that a 3-year-old boy can play piano. I couldn't even spell practice." For Matthew, this was a complete God thing. At 7 years old, he prayed one of the most important prayers of his life. "Lord, if you give me a professional career, I'll never play for anyone but you." That prayer became the foundation of everything that followed. Matthew's gift developed rapidly. By the time he was 12, he had already performed at the Grand Ole Opry and won Instrumentalist of the Year at a major talent competition in New York City. He graduated as valedictorian of his high school class and pursued music education at the University of Tennessee at Martin. But God had other plans. In 2004, at just 19 years old, Matthew was offered a position with the award-winning gospel family group, the Perrys. Traveling with them nearly 250 days a year, Matthew quickly made a name for himself. Fans noticed, too. He received multiple Singing News Fan Award nominations for Top Musician. And then, in 2007, came one of the most unforgettable moments of his career. Matthew was chosen to play piano during Anthony Berger's induction into the Southern Gospel Music Hall of Fame. For Matthew, it was a beautiful full-circle moment. After marrying and welcoming his first child, Matthew knew he wanted to spend more time with his growing family. In 2008, he stepped back from full-time touring. But God wasn't finished with him. Around that same time, Bethel University in his hometown invited him to join their Renaissance program, a performing arts initiative. Matthew jumped at the opportunity. By 2014, he had become executive director, growing the program from 170 to over 300 students. And here's what's amazing. At Bethel, students in the arts receive scholarships on the same level as athletes. Matthew often said, "The alto that stands in the choir gets the same scholarship as the quarterback." He believed in lifting up young people with talent and passion, giving them the tools and encouragement to succeed. In 2012, God opened another door. Matthew became the full-time keyboard player for the Gaither vocal band and Gaither homecoming tour. For Matthew, it was a dream come true. The schedule wasn't as demanding as life with the Perrys, which allowed him to balance touring, his work with Bethel, and his family. But beyond the stage lights and the applause, Matthew's goal was never fame. His deepest desire has always been to use music as a tool to change lives. Whether arranging a song in the studio or playing live on stage, his mission has been clear. If a song inspires and challenges us in our walk with Christ, then that's the ultimate goal. Music should encourage others, point them to Jesus, and remind them that he can change their lives. Matthew has produced and arranged dozens of projects, including the Martins' a cappella album, which earned a Dove Award nomination and was even considered for a Grammy. But what he's most proud of isn't the awards or recognition. It's the fact that from age 7, he kept his promise to God to play only for him. When you look at Matthew's story, you see more than talent. You see faith, hard work, humility, and obedience. He often reminds his students, there's no formula for success. It's about talent, hard work behind the scenes, and being in the right place at the right time. But ultimately, all the credit goes to God. As we think about Matthew Holt's journey, from a little boy in Tennessee with a God-given gift to a world-renowned musician, there's something here for all of us. You may not be a pianist. You may not stand on a stage, but you do have a gift, something God placed in you for a purpose. Matthew's life reminds us that when we commit our gifts to God, He can open doors we never imagined. So whatever your calling is, don't be afraid to give it fully to Him. Work hard, stay faithful, and trust His timing. Because just like Matthew, you might find yourself standing in places you once only dreamed of, all because you said yes to God. That's the story of Matthew Holt, musician, teacher, husband, father, and servant of God through the gift of music.